Man, I tell you, when Andrade first joined the main roster, I was very excited to see what was going to happen because of his great run during the black and gold era in NXT. That Zelina Vega and Andrade act was money. Realistically, it was a main event money act if they knew how to book him properly. He made it to the main roster, and Vince McMahon and that administration took Zelina Vega away from Andrade, which we all knew at that point was a mistake. The guy didn't really speak fluent English. And the one thing that you need on top of everything else that Vince McMahon looks for is the promo. If you can't speak, if you can't sell via your microphone skills, you're not going to make the administration money. And if they're not making money off you, they're not going to book you. Andrade was let go from WWE, eventually joined AEW. Again, another exciting move for a very young upstart AEW because they are inheriting WWE's failures. Vince let Andrade down after what Triple H did to make him into a realistic main event guy. He joins Tony Khan, looks like $1 million. He's got Vicky Guerrero by his side, a mouthpiece. It looked like early on they were going to fix the mistakes that WWE did not fix, or ruined, I should say. They made the corrections to the mistakes that WWE made with Andrade literally on night one. It never materialized into anything. We heard about stories of Andrade and Sammy Guevara and backstage incidences with Andrade. And then AEW Creative just didn't seem to know how to book him either. And it became more of the same in AEW as it was in his previous stint in WWE. He leaves AEW to join WWE again, and everybody gets excited all over again because maybe they're going to correct the mistakes that they made not the first time, but the second time. And we are now looking at the same situation again. Andrade has been fired by WWE. For what? Everybody early on, before news started to leak, was that WWE was booking him wrong. And he became increasingly frustrated, which I still think is the case. But it looks like Andrade shot himself in the foot one too many times. And the reason why Andrade was fired from WWE is for his own doings. I got the latest on everything that led up to this very afternoon as far as why Andrade was fired by WWE. We're going to go over it all and really have a nice deep discussion right here on Off the Script. It is your Sunday, September 14th, 2025. This is coming from Fightful Select. We'll start with this. This is the beginning stages of this story. Fightful was told that this would not have been the case with Andrade leaving WWE because of his contract expiring. He had more than 18 months left on his existing deal when he signed last year. Fightful Select is told that his departure is isolated and not connected to any additional cuts. Fightful was told in August that Andrade was not on the company's internal injury list when we asked about him not being booked for certain matches. And we're told if it was possible, he would be. We're told that the departure has been in the works, but as of now, we do not know the circumstances surrounding it. He has not been backstage at SmackDown as of late either. Now, Bodyslam.net put it on Fightful's radar that he was moved to the alumni section very early in this weekend, and that he could have been done with the company with such a move being made. One WWE source indicated that the departure had been in the works for at least a week, and that this did affect immediate creative plans after SummerSlam, which was his last appearance. That big ladder match that happened at SummerSlam that he and Rey Fenix were definitely a part of. There was a rumor that it was supposed to be Andrade and Rey Fenix versus the Wyatts at Clash in Paris, and that got changed because of this situation to the Wyatts versus the Street Profits. There was another rumor, how factual it is, I don't know, that Andrade and Rey Fenix were supposed to win the tag team championships from the Wyatt Six at Clash in Paris, as there were materials and promos and posters all ready to go for that match to take place at Clash in Paris Labor Day weekend. Andrade had departed AEW on less than ideal terms in December of 2023. AEW wanted to retain Andrade and offered him a long-term contract extension that they believed he had agreed to. However, shortly before his last match with Miro, AEW sources indicated that he informed them he wouldn't be signing an extension, which affected their creative plans moving forward. How much of that affected AEW creative plans moving forward? Nobody knows. Is it something that would have been so substantial that it ruined months of television? Probably not. That's just something, honestly, I just think that's something that gets thrown in there to make AEW look like they have a long-term plan, which most of the time they don't. So I don't think they had a long-term plan for either Miro or Andrade, and I think that's actually fucking bullshit. AEW sources we spoke to had no idea Andrade had departed WWE this weekend. We were told that there is no bridge that is truly burned in AEW. Oh my God, man. Have you ever heard such a bigger crock of shit? Really? There's no bridge that is truly burned in a... Yes, that's why everybody that mentions CM Punk or Cody Rhodes or has befriended CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, they are fucking buried underneath Guantanamo Bay. Never to be seen again. Never to see the light of day again. Sure thing, bro. Sure thing. Give me a fucking break with this nonsense. As long as nothing heinous is tied to a departure, a return wouldn't be impossible. Despite that situation, Tony Khan put over Andrade heavily at the World's End post-show. That year, he did wrestle Rusev or Miro. I was there in the building. It was a very good match. But you kind of felt like it was the last match for Andrade there. And said that AEW and Andrade departed on good terms. Then there came a Sports Illustrated update that followed Fightful's. Sources indicate to the takedown on Sports Illustrated that Andrade was effectively released from the company and that the departure was not a mutual decision. He had not been backstage at TV tapings for nearly a month, and multiple talent were being told Saturday afternoon that Andrade, 35 years old, still very young, had been let go by the company. It is unknown if Andrade also requested his release as he did back in 2021. It was also noted that the release was not related to budget cuts, as has been the case for multiple WWE departures over the past couple of years. Now, this was then. They said the exact nature of the release, however, is not entirely clear at this time. And this was yesterday afternoon. It was emphasized that WWE doesn't typically offer contracts that are a year and a half long. Andrade had a successful run in NXT from 2015 to 2018, winning the NXT Championship in a run that included a memorable title match against Johnny Gargano at TakeOver Philadelphia, one of the greatest WWE matches ever, and maybe one of the best NXT Black and Gold matches of all time. He would go on to win the United States Championship during that time, but would depart the company in 2021 after requesting his release. He would then jump ship to AEW, where he would have a rocky tenure due to backstage tensions and injuries. His AEW contract expired at the end of 2023, and he would return to WWE in January of 2024 at the Royal Rumble. Andrade didn't get much traction on camera during his second WWE run, winning the WWE Speed Championship, as if that really means anything, before having a best-of-7 series with Carmelo Hayes. He spent much of 2025 teaming with Rey Fenix, with his last match happening at SummerSlam in that 6-team ladder match. I'll get back to that in a second on what they had him doing, which obviously could have easily factored into why he just became disinterested in WWE. The takedown on Sports Illustrated reached out to WWE for comment regarding this situation, but had not at that time yesterday afternoon received a formal response. We will continue to have more details as they become available, says Sports Illustrated. Dave Meltzer updated everybody this morning, and he spoke on the Wrestling Observer Radio, and he provided more details on the situation. He says, and I quote, "I don't know the whole story, but I do know it was a discipline thing. It was not his doing at all. You know, it wasn't like, oh, he's not being used well, so he's unhappy. I'm positive he's unhappy, but it wasn't him asking out. It sounds like he was unhappy. I'm just going to throw that out there. Part of the reason why he ghosted WWE, supposedly, is because he was unhappy. Meltzer went on to explain the timeline of events. He says, and I quote, "What happened was a couple of weeks ago. It is actually a story from a couple of weeks ago that broke today. I mean, he wasn't fired until today, but a couple of weeks ago, there was a disciplinary thing. And all I know, it was at a TV taping, and he was told to go home. And he's not been used since. And when he was sent home, you didn't hear guys being sent home that often anymore like you did back in the day. The feeling when he got sent home was that it must be serious because you don't hear about that," says Dave Meltzer. The specific nature of the disciplinary issue is not known yet. And Meltzer says, "I was told it was not drug-related, it was not alcohol-related, it was not marriage-related," which a lot of people also started speculating, ruling out some of the common reasons for such an issue for someone to be sent home. Nobody would tell me what it was, but it was enough to be sent home. Then there was another episode from Sports Illustrated where they followed up on Dave Meltzer's report. Sports Illustrated, as of 5 hours ago, said this: "Multiple sources indicate to Sports Illustrated that Andrade had at least one wellness policy violation during his most recent WWE run." But Dave Meltzer said it wasn't drug-related. Sports Illustrated is saying that he had one wellness policy violation during his most recent WWE run. It is not known how exactly he was in violation of the policy. I mean, you look at him and you can take one logical guess as to what the fuck he was doing. That's all I'm going to say. Have you looked at his Instagram? Have you looked at what he looks like? Let's put the pieces together, man. We're not fucking stupid. It is not known, says Sports Illustrated, how he was in... If I could throw the picture up, I will. It is not known how exactly he was in violation of the policy or whether or not he is, in fact, testing positive for banned substances. WWE can suspend a talent for failing to produce a test. It is also not clear if it directly led to his release, but it was noted that he was suspended without pay as a result of this situation. Initial reports noted that he had not been backstage at SmackDown as of late and was not listed on the internal rosters. The takedown on Sports Illustrated can add that he was told to leave a taping last month and was escorted out of the building. A high-level source asserted this dismissal from the building, and it was in relation to the most recent suspension and that it affected major creative plans for his tag team with Rey Fenix. Now, Bodyslam.net reported on Saturday that WWE had tried to get in touch with Andrade for several weeks, but they had been unsuccessful. The takedown on Sports Illustrated cannot confirm at this time, though the incident at SmackDown was said to have occurred in the middle of August. Now, while sources indicated that there was at least one wellness policy violation this year, this would not be his first with the company. WWE announced in January of 2020 that he was suspended for his first violation of the policy, which resulted in a 30-day suspension. He would leave WWE the following year, jumping ship to AEW, where he would perform until December of 23. There, he also faced disciplinary action following a backstage incident with Sammy Guevara. It should also be noted that WWE has not published any potential wellness violations publicly since the TKO merger in 23. Yes, that doesn't sound fishy at all. As a result, it is unknown how many there have been, if there have been any outside of this at all. WWE has not commented on the nature of the release in a formal capacity as of this time. I don't know why WWE opted to release Andrade here. It sounds like an innocent thing when you look at it and read this head on. He did not pass a wellness policy test. Is that enough to fire somebody? Should that be grounds for termination? Probably not. Probably not. The old WWE, they gave you 3 times. First time violating, 30 days. 60 days for the second time, and then a termination the third time. How many of the talents abided by those rules? I don't fucking know. I mean, there are stories where people have got to the third tier of violation and they weren't terminated. It all depends on your status in the company, and it all depends how big of a superstar you are. For a lower tier guy, they have no problem. But for a big name, I'm sure they'll bend the rules like they usually do. I don't know if the policies have changed under WWE management, because it sounds like one violation should not really lead to a termination for someone like Andrade. Everybody deserves a second chance. It could be an innocent thing. Who knows? Maybe the policies at TKO change. You get one chance. If you fail, you're out the door. Maybe it's a mixture of testing for the wellness policy violation, positive. He did not follow up on it. He did not submit a test when they had requested he take a test, which ultimately they failed him on. And then he ghosted the company, and WWE said, we're not dealing with this, and just fucking laid the hammer down, and he's gone. Goodbye. It could have been a direct cause from the wellness policy violation where they got him, he didn't submit a test, or they wanted a test from him. I don't know how often these guys are tested. If anybody's tested at all, if there's a regular schedule on these guys being tested, maybe he got tested. He didn't give the results because he was hiding something. They suspended him, and then he ghosted them. And if the WWE tried to reach out, again, I don't know. And WWE said, you know what? We're washing our hands of this. If he wants to act like this, goodbye. We don't need him. He needs us. I don't know. It all sounds very petty. Like, you want to be a WWE superstar, I get it, but there are rules to abide by. If you want to be a superstar and there are things that you need to do to remain in good standing, like test for their wellness policy, and you fail to submit a test when they ask you to give a test, the fuck are you going to do, man? What do you think's going to happen? There's going to be consequences because you failed to give them what they are requesting. And then he ends up ghosting them. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like there's been some communication issues. Could Andrade have been asked to take a test? Could he have used this as a possible way out of the company because he's been developing unhappiness? And he looked at this as a way out. Hey, they want me to take a wellness policy test. I'm not going to give them the test that they're requesting, and I'm not going to submit anything. And that was used from Andrade's point of view to get fired from the company. Maybe he thought that it would get him released or fired. Maybe because that's what he wanted. Maybe because that's what he wanted, because he's unhappy. Again, I don't know. I do think at the end of it all, it sounds like Andrade shot himself in the foot. But I'm absolutely not dismissing the fact that WWE botched Andrade creatively. I don't doubt for a fucking second that Andrade sat there every single week wondering, what the fuck do I have to do for this second time now? It happened the first time, they didn't book me the right way. I go to AEW, they didn't book me the right way. I'm back in WWE again for a second time, they didn't book me the right way when he thought the grass would be greener on the other side. Andrade sounds like, here from what we read, shot himself in the foot. He didn't do what was asked of him. And there are consequences that come with that. Again, could he have used that as a way to get out because he was unhappy? Absolutely. We don't know what the current rulings and standings are in WWE as far as wellness policy violations or what the consequences are if you fail a test. We don't know. Sounds a little bit too severe to be fired if you fail a wellness policy test. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Andrade wasn't the happiest guy in the fucking world. He was unhappy. He was unhappy. Anybody watching the show, anybody that's tweeting during Andrade and Carmelo Hayes in the United States title picture, and the fact that they paired him with Rey Fenix on Friday Night SmackDown in a tag team. These are two singles guys. What the fuck do they have to do with one another outside of their nationality and their heritage? Both being luchas. Nothing. Rey Fenix's partner's over on the other show. That's who he should be tag teaming with. Not Andrade. Andrade was unhappy creatively. He got returns, or he did return at the Royal Rumble. He didn't really do much of anything else. He embarked on that 7-match series with Carmelo Hayes. Do you know what that resulted in? Nothing. It resulted in nothing for neither Andrade or Carmelo Hayes. What the fuck did they do? They went right back to LA Knight, and then they gave the United States title to Shinsuke Nakamura. Imagine that. Would you be happy? A Nakamura reign that will go down as the worst in United States title history. If you are Andrade, how the fuck do you look at that as anything but unhappy? 70 days of Nakamura holding the championship because they just turned him heel. Are you fucking out of your mind? So only then drop the title back to LA Knight. But before WrestleMania. And then LA Knight dropped the title to Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. Where were Andrade? Where was Carmelo Hayes? 7 matches these guys gave us, most of which were very good, most of which were the highlight of SmackDown when they did take place. You mean to tell me that you had these guys go out there and fucking have a best of 7 series and it resulted in nothing? Gee, man, I wonder why Andrade was fucking unhappy. You mean to tell me these guys had a best of 7 series and all of that resulted in giving Nakamura the United States Championship? Gee, man, I wonder why Andrade was unfucking happy. I don't know what to believe. And then there's stop and start pushes with him and Santos Escobar. He's trying to convince Humberto Carrillo to get out of the fucking group, out of Legado del Fantasma. Where the fuck did that go? Weeks of television. We seen Andrade on television whispering things to Humberto, and Angel stands there. I don't know. Santos Escobar's getting upset. He's another one. Where the fuck did he go? Where did he go? Sooner or later, you're going to hear about how he's asking for his fucking release. And then what happened? From that, we got this random tag team with Andrade and Rey Fenix. Sure, they had some great matches. Why wouldn't they have great matches? They're 2 fucking great professional wrestlers. Of course they're going to have great matches with DIY and the Street Profits and fucking Fraxium. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But that's not what he came here for. It's not. He came here to win championships. He came here to win. He came here to be on his own. He came here because once upon a time you got it right. Vince didn't get it right. Tony Khan didn't get it right. And Triple H and whoever the fuck is on that terrible SmackDown creative team did not get it right. How do you fail? How do you drop the ball on Andrade 3 different fucking times? You didn't even work with him to make sure the weaknesses that he had were fucking fixed. We told you for months what needed to happen. Andrade, Zelina, mouthpiece. The act together, championships. The act together, a main event fucking act. You want to go a little bit deeper? You pair a fucking group of luchas around him, and you give him an LFI-like faction in WWE on Friday Night SmackDown. Can you imagine how fucking ridiculously inept this company is that we didn't get matches with Andrade AJ Styles, Andrade Finn Balor, Andrade Gunther, Andrade Braun Breaker, Andrade anybody, Cody, Andrade Aleister Black, Andrade Sami Zayn. How do you blame this completely on Andrade? Did he fuck up? Clearly. How you ask Andrade to submit a wellness policy test and then he results in not producing one, that's all on him, bro. That's all on him. The question that needs to be asked is why he thought he didn't want to give, why he wanted not to give a fucking test result to WWE? Is it because he was unhappy? Is he unhappy with the way things are going? Did he feel picked on? Did he feel targeted? There's a lot of things that go through someone's head when you are not booked creatively the way that they promise you. I'm not telling you he is completely innocent in this, but don't think that WWE isn't just as guilty as Andrade is for not failing to produce a wellness policy test. This is a multi-layered thing. WWE's to blame, and Andrade is to fucking blame. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. And I see some of the criticisms, and I see some of the people. Well, this is now a third time. First of all, the first time was Vince. I'm not even counting that because they fucked him up. And no wonder he asked for his fucking release, because anybody in that position probably would have done the same thing. He asked for his release from AEW. They granted it. They weren't doing anything with him there anyway. What were they doing? They didn't have any fucking plans for him. They didn't have any fucking idea what to do there. Meanwhile, his work with LFI and Jose the Assistant, that was great. They went nowhere. They did nothing with it. And then he shows up back here thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Triple H is involved. And they let the guy down again. How? Why? The guy looks like $1 billion. Do something. Do it. Especially on a SmackDown that has absolutely no life. You're fucking dying for talent on Friday, and you got this guy and do nothing with him. You do nothing. Now the best we got is a tag team. You wouldn't feel the need to put him in a fucking tag team if your tag team division was healthy with actual tag teams. I don't understand why they were so, unless he said something to somebody that was inexcusable, unforgivable. I don't know. I don't know. Did he say something to Charlotte? Was there an altercation backstage with Charlotte that we don't know, that will never get out? They were on the same show. They just recently went through a divorce. Did he say something to Bruce, to Triple H, to one of the higher ups there? What did he do that ultimately deserved to be fired? That's the question. By what we see here, what we read here, it sounds a little extreme to just fire somebody over a failed fucking wellness policy test, or the fact that he didn't give the result for the test. I am going to look at it as he did it on purpose and he wanted out because of the way he was being handled. I don't know how you let someone like that just fucking slip through the cracks on WWE television when you, especially on Friday, are fucking desperate for fucking talent, bro. Then you got AAA, which WWE, if you watch Worlds Collide from fucking Vegas on September 12th, I mean, it's becoming more and more apparent that it's nothing more than a Mexican version of NXT TakeOver, NXT Black and Gold. Oh, but we won't change it from the way that you guys remember it. Motherfucker, this is as NXT TakeOver as you could possibly make something. This is basically Lucha TakeOver. The production, the visuals, the sound, the commentators, the everything. The talent, the matches. What roster do they have there? It's basically an NXT TakeOver show. It's basically Mexican Black and Gold. That's what they're making it out to be. You mean to tell me that Andrade couldn't fit down there? With this big expansion and this big partnership, you don't think that Andrade should fit down there perfectly like a glove? Bro. Where's he going? You think Tony Khan's going to take him back? You think Tony Khan's going to take him back? I don't think Tony Khan's going to take him back. They can't even find fucking TV time. They can't even book memorable television or logical television with the talent that they got. What is Andrade going to add to AEW television? Nothing. Nothing. What, are you going to bring him back and pair with Roosh? To do what? Be a great fucking tag team. Be a great group. LFI only finds TV time when Roosh wants to complain about something on social media and post something cryptically. Then he gets booked conveniently the next week. If you're going to go that route, you might as well bring the whole fucking group back. Bring Jose back, bring Andrade back, and just pair them back together. Again, what are they going to do? Andrade asks for his release to go work for Triple H. You think Tony's going to take him back? He looks at him as a traitor now. He ain't taking him back. I would be floored if Andrade is back in AEW. Not like it's going to amount to anything. There'll be fake excitement. The sickos who once fucking called him a traitor will welcome him back with open arms and completely just rush to delete all the fucking tweets that they are blasting this guy for signing back with WWE in 2024. Does he go to CMLL? It's probably the number one thing that I thought of. CMLL, Japan, I'd even say TNA. Does WWE have such a stranglehold on TNA that they wouldn't allow TNA to sign Andrade? Not going to be making the same fucking money, I'll tell you that. But Andrade would kill it on TNA. If Mike Santana is going to win the TNA World Championship, don't you think a world title program with Mike Santana and Andrade would fucking light the entire company on fire? Mike Santana's phenomenal. Imagine him and Andrade going at it for the TNA. I'd actually start watching TNA if that's the fucking case. I don't know, bro. I don't know. CMLL, Japan. Maybe he don't want to wrestle and take some time off. Just kind of clear his head. I don't know. The pro wrestling business has done him dirty, man, on more than one occasion. He isn't fucking free and clear of making mistakes either with the AEW situation with Sammy Guevara. This situation with the wellness test. Who knows what led to that and him not giving a test result back to WWE. I'm sure there was some unhappiness there. What a fumble. He also shot himself in the foot. I'm not clearing his name from this. But at the same time, if you want to point the finger of blame on Andrade, you got to point the finger of blame of WWE too. Absolutely. The way that he was handled, you fucking kidding me? Staring you in the fucking face at how poorly this guy was booked. On a Friday night SmackDown that has fucking 2 hours of nothing. It's dead. I don't want to hear it. This sucks. It really does suck. Hopefully there's a resolution to this. I don't know if WWE would eventually bring him back. I mean, why did they bring him in the first place if they had no fucking plan to use him? That's another thing. You bring him in with hopes to use him. And they did nothing with him. Nothing. So why'd you bring him in? It sneakily sounds like WWE simply brought him in because he was with AEW and they brought him in to spite AEW with no fucking plan to use him whatsoever. He could have possibly been assigning, let's bring him on in to spite Tony Khan. And then they did nothing with him and had no fucking desire or plan to begin with to use him. But he's an AEW guy. Let's bring him on in. Didn't Nick Khan once upon a time say, oh, we don't sign people away just to have them sit on the sidelines? Motherfucker, Andrade is the quintessential exhibit A about how you sign talent and do nothing with them. I hope for the best. Does he come back? Doubtful. TNA? Maybe. CMLL? Possibly. AEW? Not a chance. Not with the way Tony Khan operates. This guy went to go work with AEW to go eventually X for his release to go work for Triple H. Bro, you are fucking as blacklisted as me from a fucking media scrum. I wish Andrade nothing but the best, man. Phenomenal fucking talent. Listen. There are things he could have done better. This is the last thing I'll say. There are things that he could have. He looks like $1 billion. He dresses fucking phenomenally. He looks like a main event guy. Bro, I don't want to make this out to be a language thing. You're in WWE. You're in a North American professional wrestling promotion, bro. Stephanie Vicare's language is getting better and better by the week. Phoenix speaks great English. Penta speaks great English for being Lucha. Dragon Lee speaks great English. El Grande Americano speaks great Spanish. Andrade, every time he spoke, you physically heard him not advancing his verbal skills. I don't think he put enough stock into how important that was. I also think at the same time that WWE didn't help alleviate that problem and could have fixed that quickly and efficiently, and they did not. Again, it goes both ways. Andrade shot himself in the foot with this situation. I certainly don't believe he put a lot of stock in learning the English language and helping his cause by reciting a better promo. I don't think that he put a lot of effort into those types of things. But at the same time, WWE also didn't help his cause either. And they dropped the ball creatively. Just kind of, he was just there. On a random night, he was just there. We need a filler match, Andrade's there. Bro, you can't be thinking about your talent like that, man. You got to be in the business of building guys up, especially on a Friday night show that has fucking nothing on it. This guy could have been a main event guy if you put a little tender love and care into the creative, and you did nothing. And now you're without this guy because you opted to fire him, and who the fuck knows where he's going to end up. This Triple H a bullshit artist, man. All the black and gold era guys, man, they come back and nothing's happening with them. We're still waiting for Black. What's happening with him? Where's Jacob Fatu on Friday Night SmackDown? What happened to Damian Priest on Friday? Man, Friday, I don't know what the fuck's going on. There's a bigger problem on Friday night than we even realize. Seriously. What's happening? What is going on? Where is the WWE from 2 years ago, bro? The creative this year is fucking awful. It is miserable. I wish Andrade nothing but the best here. Hopefully he lands on his feet somewhere. He's too good not to. Thank you guys for a great show today. I will be back on Monday live after Raw. 7 p.m. start time, by the way. Tomorrow we'll be live around 10 o'clock. So make sure you guys look out for that. Tuesday Night Titans this coming Tuesday with the Silent Monster. I'm sure we'll be talking about this as well. And make sure you guys go check out all the other videos on the channel. Plenty of it. We're back in business. YouTube fixed their problems. We are back in business, man. Hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. And please make sure you follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. Thank you guys very much. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this Andrade story. Sound off in the comments below. And I will see you live back here tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.